Guys, big breaking news coming out. World War III update. Venezuela President Nicolas ready to declare state of emergency over U.S. aggression. Once again, Venezuela is getting ready to declare a state of emergency, and they do have their soldiers ready. Their bunkers is ready too. So Nicholas has a bunker in Caracas, and also Padrino, I think that's his name. He also has his bunker. So they are ready to declare a state of emergency. They are active. They are prepared. Colombia is also seemed like they're about to back Venezuela in this war here. So we are definitely seeing nation against nation building up in various places. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Thank you again for your support. Your support is what keeps us on air. Also, it's very important that Americans also be prepared. You got all these countries and citizens are being trained, and bunkers are being, opened, and everybody's prepared except for us. Sleeping Giant citizens needs to know where the bunkers are at, how to, again, shooting range and stuff like that. It's very important to start preparing yourself spiritually, physically, and mentally. So again, we are definitely about to see something in Venezuela, and things could heat up in the southern region. Venezuela President Nicolas is ready to declare a state of emergency over the warning of U.S. aggression following a spate of deadly U.S. strikes on suspected Venezuelan boats. VP Delcy Rodriguez said on Monday, September 29. Now, Rodriguez told foreign diplomats that Nicolas has signed a decree giving himself special powers as head of state to act in matters of defense and security in the event the United States dares to strike our homeland. A Gov source told however, told AFP that Nicholas had not yet signed the document. Now, the vice president presented the document to show that everything was ready and that the president can decree it at any time, the source said, speaking on condition of anonymity. All right, so once again, you have the left authoritarian Nicolas place Venezuela on high alert over a major U.S. military deployment near his country's coast. The U.S. commander deployed 8 warships and a nuclear-powered submarine to the southern Caribbean as part of its stated plan to combat drug, operation, but which appears particularly aimed at pressuring Nicholas. U.S. forces have destroyed at least 3 suspected boats in the Caribbean in recent weeks, taking 14 in a move decried as extrajudicial execution by UN expert. Now it says here, now U.S. military officials are drawing up options to target the gangs inside Venezuela borders, according to a report by U.S. news outlet NBC, citing 4 sources familiar with the discussions. Now, declaring a state of emergency would allow Nicholas, whose disputed re-election last year was not recognized by much of the international community, to temporarily suspend Venezuelans' basic rights. Rodriguez was confident that Venezuelans would unite behind Nicolas in the event of a U.S. strike. Venezuelan is united in the defense of our country, she said, vowing we will never surrender our homeland. Ain't nobody saying to surrender your homeland. the problem is that your region, there's a lot of gangs, and a lot of these stuff is coming in to our sleeping giant country, and then there needs to be some kind of an end to that. Now, give me a second here. So once again, Venezuela is getting ready to declare a state of emergency. And at the same time, we do have all these nation against nation news that's coming out. Make sure you check out the video I posted today, guys. The links will be in the description box. Want to see if I can find some more updates. The Guardian just put out their information 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. This is a very important update coming out right now. So once again, Nicholas is ready to declare a state of emergency in the event of a U.S. military strike on Venezuela. The country vice president has said, warning of catastrophic consequences if such an event materializes. The U.S. Commander Administration has turned the heat up on Caracas in recent weeks with a major naval deployment in the Caribbean Sea and a series of airstrikes of Venezuelan boats that have taken at least 17. Washington claims its attack are part of an offensive against Latin American gangs who are bringing their product into the U.S. but many suspect they could be a prelude to a broader military intervention designed to end Nicholas' 12-year rule. 12 years. 12 years. 12 years. You know well, those Venezuelans don't like Nicholas. They don't want that dude in power. But it's like they found a way to remain in the spotlight. Speaking on Monday, the VP, Mrs. Rodriguez, who is one of the Nicholas' closest allies, called the U.S. claims that its strike were about fighting the gang. It's a big lie. She alleged that the U.S. Commander campaign was actually about seizing the natural resources of the country with the largest proven oil reserve on Earth. They're basically shaking in their boots. That's what it is. They're shaking in their boots. It has only one purpose and objective: the reserve of oil, gas, gold, minerals, and the biological wealth that Venezuela has, and which they need for this new era, in which the U.S. Gov declares war on the entire planet, said Rodriguez, attributed U.S. warmongering to its Secretary of State Rubio, who she called the Lord of War. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's pretty messed up. Poor Marco Rubio. So Mrs. Rodriguez said that the state of emergency, if activated, would immediately give Nicholas special powers. I guess it would turn him to the green Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm kidding, guys. It would give him special powers to mobilize the armed forces, to seal the country's border, and to place the military in charge. And to place the military in charge of key infrastructures. Wow. Okay, so this is huge. We will never hand over our homeland. Never, she vowed, warning that Venezuelans who voiced public support for such an intervention will face consequences. Those who openly call for an invasion cannot consider themselves Venezuelan, Rodriguez said. Until recently, many experts were convinced the U.S. commander pressure campaign against Venezuela was political theater designed to please voters back home and possibly spark a military rebellion against Nicholas. But the U.S. commander deadly strikes, which legal experts and Latin American leaders have denounced, as unlawful extrajudicial, I'm going to skip that name, have left some thinking further escalation is on the cards. It says here on Friday, NBC News reported that U.S. military officials were drawing up options to target these gangs inside Venezuela, with those discussions primarily focused on drone strike, possibly in the next several weeks. Now you have Mr. Phil Gunson, a Caracas-based analyst for crisis groups, said, "I would feel fairly uncomfortable in ruling out an invasion and U.S. occupation of Venezuela, boots on the ground, as they tend to say. But apart from that, I think all the options are there." Gudson still thought a missile or bomb strike on Venezuela presidential palace, Miraflores, or the military compound where its leaders live unlikely, and perhaps more plausible is the U.S. blowing up something somewhere in the interior of Venezuela that they can try to convince us is connected to the gang operation. All right, and this is all the information here. So Nicholas ready to declare state of emergency if U.S. strike Venezuela. Mrs. Rodriguez, one of the Nicholas' closest allies, warns of catastrophic consequences if this happens. So we are seeing it, we are living it, we are witnessing Bible prophecy, nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Today's been nothing but WWE stuff. Again, people need to start waking up. We are seeing WWE build up all over the place, everywhere. And I do believe, the meeting that took place in in Washington, you got Benjamin and the Donald. Again, even though they're talking about peace, but remember what Scripture says: when spoken of peace and safety, or peace and security, then sudden destruction shall follow. We're gonna see how all this plays out, but keep your eyes open on NATO, Ukraine, Russia, the Holy Land, Gaza, Taiwan, China. Just keep your eyes on Venezuela. We are definitely seeing a lot of stuff here, guys. And again, many residents out there in different countries are being told to prepare, stock up, and get ready. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.